why a lot of these celebrities that start these things, they can't keep up. You know, like the Meghan Markles.
Thoughtful, it started with a cartoon, but not just any cartoon. Serious South Park unleashed one of its most brutal takedowns yet in an episode titled Worldwide Privacy Tour. The targets? Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, annoyed. With razor-sharp satire, the show mocked their very public demand for privacy, portraying them as fame-obsessed, tone-deaf celebrities desperate to escape the spotlight, while actively chasing it. The caricatures were over the top, yes, but the message hit hard. Rhetorical, were Harry and Meghan asking the world to look away while refusing to stop waving? Surprised, but what stunned everyone wasn't just the parody, it was what came next. Emphatic. Not long after the episode aired, rumors exploded across social media. Meghan Markle was furious. Whispering whispers claimed she found the portrayal offensive and even considered taking legal action. Some outlets suggested she was demanding the episode be pulled, while others hinted at behind-the-scenes pressure from her camp. Dramatic. While no official lawsuit ever emerged, the internet didn't wait. Meghan vs. South Park became a full-blown digital wildfire. Fans, critics, and royal watchers weighed in, turning speculation into spectacle. Thoughtful. But if Meghan really was that upset, what did the creators of South Park have to say? Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the minds behind South Park, didn't respond with a statement because they didn't need to. Their silence was almost louder than words. For creators known to mock presidents, celebrities, and entire religions, a bit of royal outrage was just another day at the office. Behind the scenes, insiders claimed the team laughed off the controversy. No edits, no apologies, no retraction. The episode remained untouched, streaming freely, a clear message. They weren't backing down. And while Meghan may have been furious, the internet had a very different reaction. The backlash was swift, but not against South Park. Online forums lit up with memes, reaction videos, and hashtags. Thousands praised the show for saying what everyone's been thinking about Meghan and Harry's public contradictions. On Twitter and Reddit, users called the parody spot on and accused the royal couple of playing victim while chasing clout. Even former fans began questioning their narrative, seeing South Park as a mirror held up to the chaos. It wasn't just comedy anymore. It was commentary that struck a nerve. But while the world laughed, the royal PR machine quietly kicked into damage control. While there was no official comment from Meghan or Harry, subtle shifts in media coverage suggested something was happening behind closed doors. Royal-friendly outlets suddenly downplayed the episode's impact. A few PR experts chimed in, framing the parody as harmless satire rather than a personal attack. Some even speculated that Meghan's team reached out to streaming platforms to monitor the clip's spread, though, again, nothing was confirmed. It all felt calculated, like someone wanted the story to die quietly. But it didn't. In fact, it only grew and dragged in even bigger names. As the controversy kept snowballing, even Hollywood couldn't stay silent. A few comedians applauded South Park's guts, calling it a much-needed reality check for the royal couple. But others, especially those in Meghan and Harry's inner circle, tiptoed around the subject. Some celebrities avoided interviews altogether when asked about the episode. The tension was real. Mocking the Sussexes was suddenly a litmus test in Hollywood. Were you with them or over their drama? Quietly, industry insiders whispered about Sussex fatigue. Too many headlines, too much damage control, too many contradictions. But even with the backlash, Meghan wasn't out of moves just yet. Behind the scenes, new rumors started swirling. Some claimed Meghan had quietly begun exploring ways to protect her brand from future attacks. That meant vetting scripts, watching for parodies, even reaching out to platforms to flag what she considered targeted harassment. While none of this has been confirmed, several media insiders claim that her team was actively monitoring content that could impact her image.
Now that the once carefree, fun-loving prince has turned into a miserable moaner, lashing out from the depths of his paranoia at a world he thinks is conspiring against him.
If you think about it, Meghan got everything she wanted. She got the husband, she got the children, she got the HRA, she got everything that allowed her to rise up and to have that global recognition that we know how badly she wanted that.
It wasn't just about South Park anymore. It was about control, narrative control, brand control, reputation protection at all costs. And yet, no matter how much they tried to steer the story, one thing kept slipping out of their grasp: No matter how tightly Meghan and Harry tried to manage the fallout, one factor remained impossible to control: the court of public opinion. And this time, it wasn't leaning in their favor. For many, the South Park episode wasn't just funny. It was cathartic. A bold satire that finally said what others were too afraid to voice. Even people who once supported the couple started expressing doubt, questioning how a quest for privacy could feel so public. The louder the outrage got, the more viewers saw irony instead of injustice. And that brings us to the bigger picture, a moment that revealed more than just a cartoon punchline. This wasn't just a clash between a satirical show and a high-profile couple. It was a spotlight on the complicated dance between privacy, celebrity, and public scrutiny in the digital age. Meghan and Harry's story shows how hard it is to control your narrative when the world is watching, especially when the world is laughing. South Park's bold parody didn't just mock, they held up a mirror. And sometimes, the reflection is harder to face than the joke. As fans, critics, and curious onlookers, this controversy asks us, when does the quest for privacy become a public spectacle? And who really holds the power in that story? The episode may be just a cartoon, but its impact says a lot about fame, power, and perception today. What do you think? Is this a justified takedown or a step too far? Drop your thoughts below. The conversation isn't over yet.